In the middle of game 3, if it looks like the game's getting away from us, we're going to lose, I would just go down. I'm hurt. I'm out. I'm Tyrese Halliburton.
But I think their offense comes alive, and I do think they get a game. But it looks really good for the Celtics. Hanging another banner.
I can't wait to be in whatever this next situation is, where somebody does something or says something super awkward, and there's 4 seconds of silence. From now on, every time that happens, I'm just gonna lean across the table and go, David Aldridge. Jason.
Yes.
Everybody is talking about the NBA Finals, which, sure, it's a kind of big thing. But there's a bigger, more prestigious, more incredible finals that just took place, and nobody's talking about it, Jason. The World Pool Masters. They just had their finals. Why does nobody care that the World Pool Masters? Only the 16 best pool players on the planet, and they just finished it up. They just wrapped it up, and the young phenom Fedor Gorst ended up winning in a thrilling match, a thrilling hill match, 13 games to 12. He defeats Joshua Filler, the most intimidating player on the planet.
Shea, I think people who don't know you probably don't know about your affinity for pool. Tell people about how you feel about pool, how much you watch pool. Like, you watch a lot of pool.
I watch so much pool. Every big tournament, I watch it. I subscribe to a streamer that's it costs more than Netflix and Apple TV and Peacock and Hulu. It costs more than all of them per month to stream the pool matches. And yeah, the World Pool Masters just happened. So this is an invitation-only event. They pick the 16 best players in the world, and they invite them all to come out, and they play in a big tournament to see who is the master of pool in the whole entire world. And this year, for the first time ever, Fedor Gorst ended up winning. And it was an incredible final match. So they play the final round is a race to 13. And he ended up winning 13 games to 12. It came down to the last possible rack, and he broke and ran, and it was awesome. I was so excited.
Is Fedor the most intimidating, or is it the other guy?
No, the other guy, Joshua Filler from Germany. He's fucking terrifying, and these guys are young too.
What makes him intimidating?
Well, what makes him intimidating is he's probably the most talented player. Like, he's always a threat to just fucking run you off the table. Here's a perfect example. So during the match, again, they played 13 games. Fedor went up 10 games to 8, right? And then he missed a shot. And then he sat down for like 35 minutes while Joshua Filler just broke and ran everything after that, right? He's always a threat to do this. He's very arrogant and cocky and talks shit. And it's great.
What's the shit talking like?
So there's my favorite player is a guy named Shane Van Boening, out of USA, and he has like a signature move. Remember LeBron would do the move where he would like push his hands down and then beat his chest after like a big play. Yeah, that thing. Shane has a version of that he does after like a big shot or a big like when he wins a big thing. And they were recently playing USA versus Europe in the Mosconi Cup last year, the big end of year tournament, the 5 best players in America versus 5 best players in Europe. And Joshua Filler did Shane Van Boening's gesture, like mocking him. And it's just like, he just does that kind of shit. Like, he just is always talking shit. He has a song that they, like a theme song that they play in Europe. Like, the soccer chants that they do for players at soccer games. Yeah. He has one of those. But his name is Joshua Filler, and imagine you're in an arena. There's like 2,000 Europeans, and they're just screaming, and they go, "Oh, Joshua Filler, oh," they're just screaming like that the whole time while he's playing. It fucking rules. It's so great. But he lost, and I was so happy. He's like, for me, he's like the pool version of Kobe Bryant. Like, I was like, I was always terrified of Kobe Bryant. He's to me the most intimidating player I've ever watched. And when you finally got to see him lose, it just felt so good watching Joshua Filler lose here, because he wins all the time. Same as with Kobe. It felt like he never ever lost. When Joshua finally lost, It was great. It was great. Everybody should be talking about this, Jason. Everybody should be watching.
Well, let's start. We need to start. Why don't we start a podcast called 13 Balls?
Okay, I'm listening.
That's it. And then we can hand out 13 balls for each, like, as awards.
What's the significance of 13? I'm curious.
Oh, I don't know. I thought that was, you said that number, so I thought that was like an important pool number.
No, you could do 9. 9 is an important pool number.
Okay, 9.
Like we 13 is that's curious great. Choice, but okay.
Okay. Well, that's great for Wondery because then we just flip our logo upside down.
There you go. Boom. We saved them so much money. All right, this whole episode, Jason. No basketball, all pool. Are you ready? You ready to start the show?
Yeah, let's do it. They love it. Yeah, they love this.
From Wondery, I'm Shea Serrano.
And I'm Jason Concepcion.
And this is 6 Trophies.
Jason Concepcion, and welcome to 6 Trophies, a podcast series hosted by myself and Shea Serrano, in which we comb through all the pool news from the past week and then hand out 9 balls, 6 pop culture themed trophies for 6 basketball related activities in this episode. The Celtics have turned the Mavs defense inside out. The Lakers get scammed, ? Joe Mazzulla, quote icon, and more. Let's hand out some trophies.
We did 2 sets of trophies, the big trophies and the little trophies. The big trophies are first season. They're the same every week. First up, the Denzel Washington and Training Day trophy given out to whoever it is who had the best overall performance of the week. This week's winner, Joe Mazzulla press conference moments, baby.
Yeah, baby.
That Joey Mazz. What a weirdo.
Joe, truly one of the elite weirdos that we have. And I'm just increasingly about it. I love everything about it. Let's start with this. Joe was asked about the significance of himself, Jason, and coaching against Jason Kidd, 2 black coaches in the NBA Finals, the significance of that. And here is that moment.
Given the plight sometimes of black head coaches in the NBA, do you think this is a significant moment? Do you take pride in this? How do you view this, or do you not see it at all?
I wonder how many of those have been Christian coaches. David Aldridge?
That's the thing that absolutely kills me is the David Aldridge. All right, David Aldridge, you're next. I'm still trying to unpack that answer.
Everybody was waiting for him to say more stuff. I wonder how many of those coaches have been Christians. And then surely there's more to come. Surely more words are going to come out of this guy's mouth. Nope, that's all you get. That's all you get. Joey Mazz. I love him.
Yo!
I love this guy. I love it. If we stay on that track, another good example here is he was asked about the royal family attending the game.
Yeah, this is good.
And so it's like, hey, how did you feel about that? Did you get to meet the royal family? And then his response was Jesus, Mary, and Joseph? ? Like that's what he was at. I can read you everything that happens here, but we should let's listen to it. Zuri, can you play when he was asked if he got to meet the royal family and about the royal family attending the game, please?
A non-basketball question. Did you get a chance to meet with the royal family? And if not, how was it like having them there in the building?
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph?
The Prince and Princess of Wales.
Oh, no, I did not. I'm only familiar with one royal family. I don't know too much about that one.
I just love Joe. Joe marching into every game with a copy of the good book, the Holy Bible in one hand, and a Blu-ray of The Town in the other.
What a combination of things. I same as you, Jason. I'm tuned in now. There's a Joey Mazz press conference. Buckle up, baby. I can't wait. I'm watching it like I'm watching the game. I want to hear what he says now he of course does all this weird stuff. This is maybe the best coaching performance he's had in his career. What he's doing in the finals right now against the Dallas Mavericks, just completely unraveling them. Mm-hmm. And there's all of the silly weird stuff, but you get a glimpse of how fast his brain works, of how smart he is, of how much he's able to absorb. If we listen to this other, Zuri, can you play the soundbite where they're talking to him and he recounts like all of the stuff that happened in the first quarter of game 2? Now, mind you, he's not looking at a sheet of paper. This is just him looking directly at the reporter, sort of scanning the room, eyes up in like a beautiful mind situation, and he's just pulling all of these numbers out of the sky. Zuri, can you play this?
We gave up a 26-point first quarter and then 3 25-point quarters. In the 26-point first quarter, we fouled a 3-point. We messed up the 2 for 1 and fouled a 3-point shooter for 3 free throws. Luka gets 2 shooting free throws. We give up a transition basket to PJ Washington. PJ Washington hits an above the break 3. That's almost 70% of the points there. So that like the game was going the way we wanted it to go, outside of the things that we can control.
I'm in on Joe.
Yeah.
Super weird guy, very intense. I'm in on it.
Super weird guy, very intense, very smart. He will say some like weirdo stuff all the time. Every time he's good for it.
Joe, you're at the White House. What was it like meeting the president of heaven? Jesus Christ? I didn't mean it.
David
Aldridge. Next.
I can't wait to be in whatever this next situation is where somebody does something or says something super awkward and there's 4 seconds of silence. From now on, every time that happens, I'm just going to lean across the table and go, David Aldridge?
David Aldridge?
And nobody's going to understand what I'm talking about. Next trophy, the Lauryn Hill. You might win some, but you just lost one trophy. Given out to whoever it is who had the worst overall performance of the week. This week's winner, Dallas Mavericks defense. Getting shredded. Shredded, Jason.
Game 2 was interesting because Luka was going nuts. And I think offensively, you look at the Mavericks and you go, I think there's, like Kyrie can play better. They have him in handcuffs right now. Luka's obviously explosive as we saw in the first half of game 2. That can improve. But defensively, I don't know where you hide anybody against this Celtics team where they've like a million guys that shoot 40%. They can all score. Drew Holiday has like 0 turnovers in the game, taking care of the ball. And the Celtics are just executing against the Mavs defense, which looks like it can't do anything. Derek Lively, who has been so important to the Mavs deep run, looks like a rookie in this series. And I don't know that I'm not one of these basketball savants, but looking at it, it's hard to know what the Mavs can really do other than invest everything on, we just got to outscore these guys, like offense. That's where we can really make up the difference. Because defensively, it looks like a structural problem, and I don't know that there's a solve.
We have been talking all season long about the thing that makes the Celtics so dangerous is that they put constant pressure on you at every single spot. There's no weak spot in their rotation when they're swinging the ball around. Oftentimes in a game, you're like, oh, all we got to do, just get the ball out of Luka's hands, get the ball out of Kyrie's hands, and let anybody else shoot it. Yeah, let PJ Washington get 7 open threes. Sure, we'll live with that. The Celtics, you can't do that with every single person. It's just pressure all day long. I thought Mavs Moneyball, Josh Bowe wrote this a really insightful article about how the Celtics, the title was, the Celtics have neutralized the Mavericks defense's biggest strength in the NBA Finals. And then he goes on to explain how a thing that the Mavericks have done so well is that they just sort of shut off the paint. They have all of these really great shot blockers. that they just were like, all right, you can do everything on the outside, but on the interior, you're gonna not score. And the Celtics are shredding them. They were 15 for 15 in the restricted area in game 1. They shot 100% in the restricted area in game 1, 20 of 27 in game 2. Damn. It's like, and that's the thing that the Mavericks are supposed to be the best at with regard to their defense. And the Celtics are just pulling their legs off in front of everybody.
Yeah, and I think the thing that is really concerning if you're a Mavs fan is that Jason Tatum has not like had a great shooting series thus far. Jaylen Brown was incredible in game 1. But they're not putting up these huge point total numbers. Jason Tatum had most of his impact rebounding in game 1 and moving the ball and rebounding in game 2. And it's the entire team, the complete attack and the way those guys operate within the team that is just pulling the Mavericks apart. Like Tatum's ability to hang with the Mavs bigs defensively is a huge linchpin, and they have like 3 or 4 guys that can do that. Brown can do that, and Kristaps can do that, and move all over the court. And it's just, I don't know that there really is an answer for the Mavs defensively. It's just an incredible performance by the Celtics. And I chuckled at Jason Kidd's attempt at I guess you got to try everything, right? When he was like, well, the Celtics best player is Jaylen Brown.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that later.
And
it
was great. It was like, I guess you got to try something because like the Celtics are just out there getting whatever they want. And that's despite the fact that their star guy is really not shooting that well.
It has seemed in the playoffs, I think we talked about this, or maybe we were texting about it, but the Celtics in every round of the playoffs are good for one game where they just are not going to make anything. They're just going to shoot horribly from the field. For one game, every series, that's going to happen. So you don't have to beat them 4 times. You really just got to beat them 3 times, and then one time they're going to give you a game. And that's what happened in game 2 against the Mavericks. They shoot the Celtics shoot 0% from 3 for the entirety of the game. They're missing everything, and you still lost the game.
Very disheartening.
You didn't even win the one that they give you. And you mentioned before, Tatum isn't doing anything that is like, oh my God, well, he's not going to do that again. He had 16 points in the first game. He had 18 points in the second game. You know a game is coming when he goes nuts.
35
There's going to be at
12.
least one.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
And you know a game is coming when Jaylen Brown goes nuts. Like they usually do it together. Like you're down 2-0. You're really down 3-0 because that game is coming and you're not going to beat them in that game. I think this series is over, Jason. I think they lost game 2 and that was it. That was your chance. You didn't do it. And now you're going to have to watch them celebrate a championship likely on your home court.
I think the Mavs get game 3 because Luka's been
so. Please, God.
Luka's been great, although man, he came out on the court like looking like a fucking mummy, like with a huge thing strapped across his chest,
potato chips, yeah,
and like 3 bags of ice like around his leg. Still had a great game, 32, 11, and 11. You got to figure Kyrie will get loose somehow, although he looked rattled by just everything going on in Boston. It felt like he was forcing, and then like the rest of the team, it just kind of rolled downhill from there where like Kleber couldn't get it going. Everybody else was just like trying to make something happen. But I think their offense comes alive, and I do think they get a game, but it looks really good for the Celtics hanging another banner.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Next trophy. The Dominic Toretto, I live my life a quarter mile at a time trophy. Given out to whoever it is who made a short-term decision with no regard for future consequence. This week's winner, oh man, the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks, for letting Drew get to Boston. What a short-term decision that was, with no regard for future consequence, because now you got to watch them go win a championship with Drew Holiday, who was your best defender, and now he's over there being their best defender.
I mean, I'll put it like this: through 2 games, I would probably pick him as the Finals MVP at this point.
You can make that argument. I would pick Jaylen, but you can make that argument.
I just think like the defensive job he's done on Kyrie and others, the sure-handedness, 0 turnovers through 2 finals games.
0.
Like that was last time the Celtics were in the finals. The story of that team was turnovers. If they have a lot of turnovers, they lose.
Mm-hmm.
That was that team every time. It was, can they limit turnovers? Now you have Drew Holiday, and it's like putting the ball like in a bank vault. Like it's not shaking loose. He's gonna make the right decisions.
Not going anywhere.
And it's like you watch him, and you're just like, how do you let this guy go anywhere? We don't know the circumstance. We don't know the circumstances, and I'm sure the Bucks. It's unclear that the Bucks even had the ability to dictate where he would go. But this is like the worst case scenario for the Bucks.
Absolute worst case scenario. 19 rebounds and 0 turnovers through the first 2 games of the finals for Drew Holiday in 76 minutes. In 76 minutes, again, 19 rebounds, 0 turnovers. He is playing so incredibly well. You love to watch a basketball team that has all of these players in the exact right position. This is the perfect setup for Jason and Jaylen. They now have this supporting cast that they can lean on when they need to lean on them, because occasionally they will need to lean on them. You have Drew Holiday just getting to be a fucking nightmare terror out on the perimeter because the rest of the team is so good at defense. And now he could just focus on his guy. Like, he doesn't have to help a ton. He could just be like, you know what? You're not going to do anything today, sir, to whoever he's guarding. You have Kristaps just absolutely shredding the Maverick. That game 1 performance when he came out after he hit like his 3rd or 4th shot and he's backpedaling down on defense and he gets that smile on his face. And you're like, fuck, like he knew right then I'm in the exact right position. I'm perfect where I am, and just kept doing it. He did the same thing in the first half of game 2. But the Drew Holiday thing, I was talking with my cousin Gary. I was trying to talk myself into the Mavericks still having a chance in this series. And I was like, Gary, listen, all the Mavs have to do, just steal a game. Just win game 3. Just drip a couple of drops of doubt into that Celtics elixir, that beautiful potion that they're pouring. Just a couple of drops of doubt in there. And he was like, normally I would agree with you, but this year they have Drew Holiday, who's not going to panic. They have Derek White, who's not going to panic. Yeah. Like they're like
not going to panic.
The ship is steady. It's steady. Mm-hmm. And then I think the game when they were up 29, the Mavericks cut it back down to 8. That's a game that we've seen them lose before, and they were like, not this time. Mm-hmm. When they didn't give up that lead in total. All right, you're not going to beat them. You're just not going to beat them because this is where they're supposed to crack, and they didn't crack. They have all of the pieces now. Everything is in place. They're going to win the championship again.
Wow. You heard it here first. And Drew Holiday going to be champion again. It's shouts to Drew. I've always loved his game, and he has really transformed this team, man. He's such a huge part of their success.
We're this close to crowning an NBA champ. And with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
With same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. Don't miss out as the NBA season winds down. I see that DraftKings has the Celtics odds to win the finals at -800. They're up to. Here's a quick stat for you, Shea. Did you know that when teams win the first 2 games of a 7-game series, they've never lost in the history of the world? It's never happened.
That sounds accurate and true to me, Jason.
I think it is true. It's true. That's right. And if you're new to DraftKings, check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 6. That's code SIX for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5.
Only on DraftKings. The crowd is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/bball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Next trophy, the Daniel Plainview. I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy trophy, which is given out to whoever it is we're temporarily giving up on for the week. This week's winner, Dan Hurley and Woj, presenting Hurley with abandoned UConn in an effort to get Hurley a raise. What an incredible smokescreen. What an incredible smokescreen. Jason, will you explain the particulars of this situation, please?
Well, we'll just lay out the facts as they appear, and people can draw their own conclusions. So in the weeks leading up to this moment, right, there's been a lot of speculation that JJ Redick could be the next coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, that they were eyeing him and that conversations were taking place. And Shams Charania, Woj's great rival over at The Athletic, had reported that that JJ was the front runner, and it certainly looked like he could be the guy. And then Woj releases a report that says, actually, the Lakers have always been looking at Dan Hurley. That's the way he phrased it. He has always been the target. In other words, that other reports that you've been reading, they're wrong. They're knockoffs. Dan Hurley, two-time national champion, coach at UConn, has always been the target. Fast forward a couple days. Dan Hurley is able to use the leverage from the Lakers' reported interest. And he's turned it down. He's going back to UConn, which is the right move, because you can, if you're a successful college coach, you can be there forever and you're making tons of money. You just be there forever. You got all the job security you want. If Frank Vogel won a championship with the Lakers, they give him a 1-year extension. It's like the Lakers is a tough gig. So this has led a lot of people to note that, one, Woj and Hurley are very close. Woj wrote a book about Dan Hurley's dad, which was kind of one of Woj's big breaks. And this allowed Woj's friend, Dan Hurley, to get a huge contract deal. And two, it allowed Woj to get in a shot at his rival. It's just like a great hustle. And we've got a platform, Shea. We've got to start using our platform as part of like a quid pro quo to get our friends like more money so that they can do the same thing so we can get more money.
I agree with that. This the Woj versus Shams sub story here is just it's incredible sparring to watch.
It is
play out in pub. This is, with regard to NBA media, this is fucking Godzilla versus King Kong, just fighting in the streets. It's incredible. To everybody was like, as soon as Shams tweeted, JJ's the front runner, we were like, oh fuck yeah, let's go. Like this is incredible news. And then shortly thereafter, here comes Woj, like, nope, it's actually this other thing. What the fuck is happening right now? This is so much fun to watch play out. I love it. I do want to say, Jason, my pick, I still want JJ. I still want JJ as the head coach. I think historically, if we look historically here, Jason, he's the new Pat Riley. I'm jumping on this boat early, Jason. He's the new Pat Riley. We look at when the way Pat Riley got to be head coach of the Lakers. He got hired as an assistant under Paul Westhead. Westhead, they win the championship. But then the next season, Magic is like, hey, I'm a little unhappy here. I want to get traded. And immediately they fired Paul and they bring in Pat Riley. Kind of similar, kind of a little bit, if you squint your eyes, similar here. The Lakers had their coach. He's not the coach anymore. Now maybe JJ slides in. He's the new Pat Riley. They win a couple championships. He looks great in a suit on the sideline. He starts slicking his hair back. Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me, universe. Give it to me.
What do you think Shams does if he's right all along and it is JJ? Like, what is his next report like?
God. You throw a parade. You throw an NBA championship level parade down the streets of whatever city UConn is in. I have no idea. Where it is. But that's where you do your parade. That's what I would do.
Now, let me just, I just want to note one thing. So Hurley reportedly turned down a 6-year, $70 million offer previous to those numbers coming out. John Fanta of Fox Sports had reported that he had heard that it was like $100 million offer over 8 years or something like that, 6, 7, 8 years. Does the number of years, here's how I read the number of years. The Lakers actually can't pay. They can't do like a Monty Williams $80 million for 4 deal. That's too rich. They have to spread it. They can do like the headline is, whoa, $100 million, but then it's like over 8 years. Like they have to spread it out.
Yeah.
The Lakers, I think the Lakers are under a little financial pressure is what I'm getting from this. Zuri, would you agree with this?
I don't want to talk about how broke the Lakers are.
Okay. All right. Never mind.
No, I'm just frustrated that these reporters are playing games. I was texting my friends over the weekend. We all kind of wanted Dan Hurley to come here. I like these short, smart, genius head coaches. Shouts to JJ. I think that's going to be great too. But it's just like, we likened it to like we're all in on Hurley, and now that he's out, we have to act like we didn't want him at all. So he's like the girl that turned you down. Like, oh yeah, we don't care. Yeah, I don't care anyways. Are we broke? Yeah, I don't know. We're broken in a few ways, spiritually and financially, I guess. But sorry, continue.
JJ is the move. JJ is so very clearly the move here. Imagine the story arc that this completes. JJ, one of the greatest Duke players ever, also one of the most hated Duke players ever. Like that was his thing.
Reviled.
And he was great in that role. Reviled, has a great NBA career, retires from NBA, starts doing broadcasting, is somehow even better at that. Like a brilliant broadcaster, brilliant podcaster, is making a ton of money, very successful. He's beloved now. Everybody's like, yes, this is what we're looking for when we want to hear about basketball. We want to hear a smart person say smart things. And also it's cool that he's super handsome on TV. This is great. It's the whole package, right? But you go from that now to coach the Lakers. And imagine he wins a championship and he becomes hated JJ Redick again, because that would absolutely happen. If he goes to the prestige franchise, delivers a championship or two, starts slicking his hair back like Pat Riley, it all fits together so perfectly. Just do it. Do it.
Who here's this guy hasn't been on anybody's list, but I think he would. I think he's got the demeanor and the creativity to be the next Lakers coach. I would go with Shane Van Boening.
Yes, that's the pick. That's the pick right there. The South Dakota kid. Bring him in. 5-time winner of the U.S. 9-ball Open. Moscone Cup winner. World Pool Master champion. He's won it all.
Need a guy like that.
He's won at every level. Next trophy. The Chief Keef that says shit I don't like trophy, which is given out to a player or team who does something and we just don't like it. We don't like it. I don't like it. This week's winner, Jason Kidd Mind Games. You hinted at it earlier, Jason. Jason Kidd Mind Games. Asked during his off-day media availability about a game plan to defend Jaylen Brown. Kidd said, well, this is quote, well, Jaylen's their best player, quote. Then goes on to say a bunch of other nice things about it. And immediately everybody's antenna went up. Hold on a second. Is he their best player? What's going on here? What's going on here? Oh, he's trying to Phil Jackson the situation. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to sow discord amongst the Celtics. It's not going to work, but I respected the effort.
I do. I respect it. He tried. He should have like been like, well, Jalen's their best player. He's their smartest also. Well read. I think he could be an actor. Like if he decided to go into acting, he's got the looks to do that also. Could be an action movie star. There's nobody else on the roster that really could carry an action movie, like a John Wick type franchise. But I think Jaylen could absolutely do that. I think he would be a better spokesperson for SoFi, the bank, than other players that are on the Celtics roster. And I think he's got the better name that starts with a J. I think he's got the bet. There's Drew Holiday. There's other players on the Celtics with first names that start with a J. But I think Jalen's is the best name. So just all in all, I think he's the best.
Just lean all the way in. I bet he's probably a better father. If I had to guess, like he's the best father on the Celtics. Like
I don't think he has. Does he have a kid? But like I think just his energy tells you he'd be a generous and giving, loving, and inspiring father figure.
Here's the rest of the quote. He did everything, and that's what your best player does. I'm going to reinforce it. That's what your best player does. Just understanding how to play both sides, defense and offense at a high rate. He's been doing that the whole playoffs. He's their best player. Just keep on. He just keeps on saying it. Now Tatum was immediately like, people try to do this all the time. We're not going to fall for it.
Yeah.
Jaylen, same thing. We don't worry about what anybody else says. Drew Holiday, first year there, by accident was like, I don't think he's lying. I think he's telling the truth. Yeah. I think he's our best player. And then immediately was like, actually, I don't prefer one over the other. It's fine. Never mind.
Now, as many have noted, Jason Kidd is doubling Jason Tatum, not Jaylen Brown, which would lead one to believe that whatever Jason says, the way he is acting is as if the best player is Jason Tatum. That said, again, this is maybe Sam Hauser next time. Actually, I put it like this: I go Jaylen Brown, then I go Sam Hauser. Then I go maybe Horford, depending on the day. Obviously with matchups, you never know.
He should start doing also like Jaylen Brown is their best player. Derek White is their most important player. Just keep going. Yeah. Just all the
right.
Drew Holiday is their most impactful player. Al Horford, that's the heart of the team right there. Just list them all except for Jay. That's your only chance. That's the only chance you have. I was watching game 2. There's a part where Luka starts the game out great. Luka has a really strong game, and he hits a couple of shots, and he starts doing the thing when he's talking to the crowd, and you're like, all right, he's getting revved up. This is going to be close. And then the Celtics do what the Celtics do. They just push the gas down a little further and pump the brakes a little harder on your offense, and all of a sudden you're 12 points behind going into the fourth quarter, and it's like, fuck, we're going to lose this game. But it just reminded me so much watching that of like, when you were a kid, if you got into a fight with somebody, like a fist fight, and you land a good shot, boom, and you're like, oh, fuck yeah, I got this guy's number. And then the other guy lands a good shot, and he hits you so much harder, and you're like, fuck, I'm dead. There's no chance I'm going to win this fight. That's what it felt like watching game 2. It doesn't matter how hard you can hit the Celtics because they're going to hit you twice as hard back. It's a wrap, baby. It's over.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that far yet, but it does look bad. It looks bad. We'll see what happens. This segment coming to you from our sponsors, DraftKings Sportsbook. Joe Mazzulla loves to gamble. Shea, if you were going to take odds on any character from the town making the Celtics roster, who would it be? I think that obviously most of the members of the gang, Doug, Jimmy, etc., Glonesy, you have to look at them to make the team. But are there any underdogs that could possibly make the team? What about Fergus, the guy who ran the flower shop? He could do it. Who do you think Joe would draft from the town to be on the Celtics bench?
I think you got to go either Claire or Fergie. It's one of those two. Claire shows great moxie at the end of the movie when she tips off Doug that the FBI is there listening. Like that's a good team player right there. And she's smart enough to go about it in a way that won't get her caught, but she saves her guy. I think you go her, or do you just need like a grizzled old dude hanging out? You call up Fergie. You get Fergie in the huddle.
Cutting flowers
Cutting
like on the bench, on the end of the bench.
Off of the
snipping little flowers.
Like imagine that's the guy that Luka is looking at when he's about to shoot free throws. It's just Fergie sitting under the basket, clipping the thorns off. All of a sudden, all of their opponents are shooting 40% from the free throw line.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 6. That's code SIX for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. David Aldridge.
Next trophy. Step Brothers Catalina Wine Mixer Trophy, given out to the thing we're most excited about for the upcoming week. This week's winner, figuring out who's going to win the Finals MVP. Who's it going to be, Jason? Are you sticking with Derek White? That was your pick before.
At this point, it would require, I think the series would have to go longer, and Derek White would really, not that Derek White has played poorly, but I don't think you'd say that he's been the most impactful player in these two games. I think you'd probably say either Jaylen Brown or Holiday or even Kristaps. So I am going to say that the Finals MVP is going to be the Celtics' best player, Jaylen Brown.
That's what I picked too.
What are your
watching
thoughts?
This?
Yeah,
I'm with you on Jaylen Brown. I do really like the way Jason Tatum is playing. He's not shooting the ball great, obviously, right? Averaging 17 points per game or whatever during the finals. So he's better offensively than that. But it kind of doesn't matter because he's doing all of the other stuff. It feels like we've talked about this phenomenon before where a player is missing a shot, but it's not because he's afraid. It's just because he just happens to be missing them because he is being so aggressive and so tenacious. Like he's meeting the moment. He's getting into the lane. He's rebounding. He's throwing these great passes under the basket. Like he's doing all of the stuff. I really like Tatum in these. I changed my mind. I just talked myself into it. Jason Tatum is more valuable. Is more valuable in these in these games than Jaylen Brown. Try that, Jason Kidd. Do that one.
Now, let me ask you this. Considering the way this series has gone to this point, do you think it's going to be a series-wide decision? Like you're going to look at every game and say, okay, who is the most impactful over the course of this entire slate of games? Or is it going to be one of those situations where whoever plays the best in the deciding game is going to be Finals MVP?
It's probably going to end up that thing because everybody is so close right now.
That's what I think too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I think too.
It's a toss-up. I think all that you can do, if I was Dallas, this is what I would do. If I was Luka, this is what I would do. Right before Game 3, I would be, or in the middle of Game 3, if it looks like the game's getting away from us, we're going to lose, I would just go down. I'm hurt. I'm out. I'm Tyrese Halliburton. I'm not playing anymore. And then if you do that, you save a little bit of your reputation. But also you do put a little asterisk next to the championship for the Celtics because then people are going to go in the first round, the team they played, their best player was hurt. Second round, their best player was hurt. Third round, their best player was hurt. Finals, the best player was hurt. Like you taint the championship just a little bit. That's what I would do if I was Luka. I don't think that's a valid argument. You and I have talked about this before.
Right.
I think you play who's in front of you and there's no asterisks. But if I was Luka, I might try that. You want to do the little trophies?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do the little trophies. These ones change each week and are situation specific. They're for the smaller storylines that we want to mention but don't need to get all the way into. My first little trophy, the Robert De Niro in A Bronx Tale. You don't fool with a man's son. This is my son, not yours. You stay away from my son. You just stay away from my son. I don't care who you are. You stay away from my son. To the Oklahoma City Thunder for their, quote, real interest in Isaiah Hartenstein. I don't like it. Get away from him. Leave him in New York where he belongs. Leave him in New York where he belongs. That's my favorite player on the Knicks, Jason. That's my number one favorite player. I love that guy.
Ihart has been a wonderful addition to the team, and I hope we can hold on to him. My first little trophy is the Jiminy Cricket When You Wish Upon a Star trophy to the USA Men's National Cricket Team. That's right, folks.
Congratulations.
One of the greatest upsets in sports history has taken place. USA has beat Pakistan in some cricket tournament, the T20, that I don't know anything about. All I know is this. We're here. Cricket world. That's right. You thought, we're sitting pretty because the U.S. doesn't care about cricket. We're just going to run it up on people. India, Pakistan, all the traditional cricket powers, that forget it. America's here. We're playing cricket now. We have that big paddle. We wear those crazy helmets. The games go on for 3 days. I don't know what the rules are, but we're here. We're here to disrupt the cricket space, baby.
I love it. My next little trophy, the Sonny in A Bronx Tale, Now Yous Can't Leave trophy. I love that movie, and I love that part.
Great movie.
Jason he locks the bikers in the bar after he tells them to leave, and they tell him fuck off, and he turns around, locks the door. Now yous can't leave. Oh fuck, what a moment. That trophy goes to James Harden, who was at a wedding with his girlfriend, and she caught the bouquet, and then he looked like oh shit, now I can't leave. Now I can't leave. Oh man! Shout out James Harden. What about this, Jason? How about this? Luka. We mentioned the defense just getting annihilated. They're flying by Luka like he doesn't have legs, right? Like he's cemented into the ground. But great offensive player. What if out of this finals comes the story? Hey, Luka, that's just white James Harden. That's all he is. Just white James Harden.
I don't know that would be incredible. Wow. I honestly think that it would take a lot for Luka to seize that particular moniker, but we will see. I think he'd really have to just like shit the bed. I will say this about Luka. No one goes from like injured, packed in ice, having like multiple bandages and big like implements wrapped around them and like limping up and down the court to like all of a sudden like jawing at people and like doing like shoulder rolls quicker than Luka Doncic. If Luka hits 2 threes, there's no pain in his body. Whatever he was feeling before is gone.
I'm begging you, Luka, deliver a Game 3 victory, please. Please.
My next little trophy is the Elton John Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me trophy to my New York Liberty for knocking the Connecticut Sun off their unbeaten perch in what was a rematch of last year's WNBA playoff semifinals. Sabrina Ionescu with a great game. No Courtney Vandersloot. The Liberty on a 7-game winning streak now. By the way, that 7-game winning streak is only 2 games less than the Aces have played completely in the entire season.
Here you go again with this bullshit.
And it's just a signature win, great win. They look really, really good right now. Jonquel Jones against their old team, just crushing it. They look great. Early in the season, but they look great. Shouts to the Liberty.
They look very good. They're a little scary. They're a tiny bit scary if I had anybody else on my team but Asia Wilson. My last little trophy, the Sonny in A Bronx Tale. That's what it comes down to, availability. The people in this neighborhood that see me every day that are on my side, they feel safe because they know I'm close, and that gives them more reason to love me. But the people that want to do otherwise, they think twice because they know I'm close, and that gives them more reason to fear me. Trophy. God, I love this guy so much. I love Chaz Palminteri so much. Perfect little monologue to Steph Curry, who pulled up to a pickup game and just started playing with some dudes. Just like
random
that's
fucking pickup
number one.
game.
That's the coolest possible thing that Steph Curry could do. We're talking about the greatest shooter to have ever lived. Just walk out onto a 24-hour fitness basketball court like, hey, can I run with y'all? Or whatever. That's great. But also terrifying. Like now I'm always going to be, when I'm playing basketball at the park, I got to worry about fucking Steph Curry showing up because he just shows up to pickup games. Fucking terrifying. I'm terrified.
One of the clips that is circulating from that is, Steph goes into that kind of patented step back move off the dribble, shoots a three, but he misses. And you know that whoever that guy defending him is going to be like, hey, for the rest of his life, is going to be like, hey, you want to see me clamp up Steph Curry? You want to see me put Steph Curry in hell? You want to see me putting the handcuffs on him? My final little trophy is the Post Malone Go Flex trophy to Adam Silver, who is about to get everybody really, really, really paid. Listen, game one of the finals, it's a weird season right now, right? Game one of the finals was, the ratings were not great. There's been a lot of discussion about NBA ratings being down in recent years. TNT and their vaunted studio show may go away. The W in many metrics is getting a lot of the buzz and a lot of the ratings. But Adam Silver says, fuck all that. You think ratings matter? I'm about to get everybody so paid with this new NBA TV deal that's a total of some $76 billion, some huge amount of money, where I have NBC paying $2.5 billion. I have Amazon paying upwards of somewhere in there, $1 billion. I have Disney, ESPN continuing to pay me billions of dollars. And not just that. Adam Silver talking about expansion now is, two expansion teams, maybe 3 expansion teams. We're talking about Vegas. We're talking about Seattle, maybe another team. Every time the league expands, the owners of the new teams have to pay an expansion fee, and that gets dispersed all across the league. So what Adam Silver is saying is, you're about to get even more money because we're going to expand, and those expansion fees are reportedly upwards of $2.5 billion. Some years ago, when asked about it, is like Adam Silver was asked, so $2.5 billion, is that what an expansion fee would look like? He says that's in the low range. So Adam Silver per team, you're talking about $9-10 billion total for the expansion fees on those teams, plus the TV deal. Everybody is getting paid. And Adam Silver is saying, ratings, you're looking at the ratings over the last several years. Guess what? Ratings don't fucking matter. I'm Adam Silver. My last name is a precious metal. Get in! You're getting paid.
My last name is a precious metal. That should be on his business card. We did it again, Jason. Another perfect episode. Flawless.
We did it.
Flawless.
Perfect.
We close every episode just by saying the names of underappreciated old basketball players with no context at all, while the theme music carries us out. Jerry, will you play the theme music, please? I'm Shea Serrano. That's Jason Concepcion. Producer Zuri in the shadows making the noises. See y'all next week. I'm doing all Chaz Palminteri movies this week.
Okay.
A Bronx Tale.
Okay. I'm doing all retired coaches. Bill Fitch.
The Usual Suspects.
Oh, great one. Hubie Brown.
Pool Hall Junkies. We were talking about pool. He's in a pool movie. I don't know if you knew that or not, Jason.
Pat Riley.
The Last Dragon. Did you know he has a quick little cameo in The Last Dragon? He's in there.
Wow,
Pay attention.
I did not know that. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Rick Adelman.
Let's close it out with Running Scared. The Paul Walker one, not the Gregory Hines one.
I love the Gregory Hines, Billy Crystal one. You want to hear my my impression of Jimmy Smits from the Billy Crystal, Gregory Hines Running Scared? I don't know when the last time you've seen that movie, but it's one of the great, it really is one of the great buddy cop movies. Ready? This is Jimmy Smits in Running Scared. My Coke! My Coke! No, my coke! That's the scene where Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines are dropping his coke from the top of a mall, and like it's like hitting the ground, and Gregory Hines and Jimmy Smith is screaming, "My coke!"